everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I'm going to be doing a 10 palettes from my collection that are perfect for fall season. So I definitely wanted to share some palettes with you guys. I do have 11 palettes, I believe. I really tried to stay close to the 10, but if you want to know what palettes I would be mentioning in this perfect palettes for fall, definitely continue watching. Also, if you're not yet subscribed, please subscribe. I do upload 3 times a week, Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, so definitely subscribe so you don't miss out. And let's just go ahead and jump right in. So the first palette I want to share with you guys is actually what's on my eyes, and it's the ABH Sultry palette. When I first saw the launch of this, I was like, I love the packaging. Of course, it's like a nice glittery packaging. But when I saw it, I was like, it's just a neutral, cool tone type of palette. But when I saw it in person at Ulta, I was like, oh my god, this is like prettier than I thought. Like the shimmers in this palette are stunning. This was limited edition, so I don't think you can pick it up anymore. You may be able to find it here and there, like at Marshall's or TJ Maxx. I would definitely recommend you guys picking it up if you find it in one of those stores. I really love it. I am wearing Cinder on my lid, but a lot of these shimmers are beautiful. They are super metallic-y, and this formula is beautiful and super reflective as well. I'm not a big fan of ABH like matte formula. I do buy ABH palettes, but the mattes are not my favorite from the brand. But these shimmers are beautiful, so definitely had to give this palette a shout out. If you have that in your collection, definitely pull it out. Another palette I have here is the Viseart Dark Edit palette. This definitely screams fall to me. Here is what it looks like. It's such a beautiful, pretty much fall palette. I like these burnt like orange shades up here. It has some purple, some olive tones. These shimmers are very metallic-y as well. I really like this palette because it's really pigmented. It's smaller than I thought it was going to be when I received it, but the pigmentation is super nice. The mattes are really nice and pigmented as well. Definitely would recommend if you're eyeing this and you're not sure about these little mini palettes. I definitely would recommend. I also have the Rose Edit, which is super nice. It's like a more mauve toned palette, but this one I definitely wanted to give a shout out for the fall season. Next up, this is an oldie, also limited edition. This is not available anymore unless maybe you can find it at Poshmark or something. This is the Colourpop Good Sport palette. I love the packaging as well. This palette here is definitely screams fall. Actually, these two kind of are similar a little bit, right? Let me see. I didn't even notice until now. Oh yeah, it kind of has like the same vibe. No wonder I put both of them in here. So yeah, if you're looking for the Colourpop palette but you can't get it, definitely check out the Viseart Dark Edit. I don't think this is limited edition, but look, this is super similar. So I guess if you have the Colourpop, pull it out. If you want the Colourpop and don't have it, pick up the Viseart Dark Edit, because you're pretty much getting the same color story here. This one is pretty much the same thing, super pigmented as well, and I really enjoy the color scheme in here. Definitely fall vibes to me as well. It has, again, the purplies, the more like warm tone shades. It has this pretty unique gray green kind of color. It's very fall-esque. Again, I guess mentioned two and just gave you an affordable and a high-end version. Next up, I have an affordable palette, which is the Nomad by JUVIAS Place. This definitely screams fall to me. Look at this stunning color story. It's so unique in my collection. Definitely need to pull this out soon in my shop, my stash. This is such a pretty color story. Again, you have that like gray green kind of color, and then you have this like pukey olive kind of shade as well, and then you just have this like dark brown. Oh my gosh, this is such a beautiful palette, very pigmented as well. That brown wasn't all that great, but I'm really loving the color story in here. You can get some warm tone looks, some grungy looks with this. You do have one shimmer. Oh, you have two shimmers in here. I never have used this dark shimmer shade. It's like a dark cool tone brown, and then this one is beautiful. It's like a deep champagne gold kind of color. I love the color story in here. Definitely need to pull this very, very soon. Next up, this is newer to my collection. This is the Melt Cosmetics She's in Parties palette. And here is the color scheme in here. You get these beautiful like grungy purple kind of shades. Can do really nice romantic looks with these, but then you could also go kind of grungy and purple. I kind of feel like is like a wearable color, so definitely had to give this one a little shout out there. I really love it. The pigmentation is super nice as well. I kind of wish instead of them having this shade right here, if they had like maybe a brow bone kind of color instead, if they wanted to go something light, or maybe like a deep like eggplant purple would be awesome if it was in here. But overall, I do like this palette. Definitely needed to give this a shout out for the fall season. I did get this on sale at Melt Cosmetics. I think it was just like $8 off, but hey, they had free shipping as well, so $8 off plus free shipping. I definitely had to jump on that. Next palette I have here to share with you guys is the Ace Beauté Classical Paradise palette. This palette came out I think maybe a year and a half or so ago. Here is a color story, definitely fall vibes. It kind of reminds me of like a scarecrow like vibes. I don't know, that just came to mind now. This, when I opened it up, definitely screamed fall to me. You get the burgundies, the reds, you get the yellows, the olive green, the orange. You get like every shade of fall in here. And I really like the formula on this. Sometimes when palettes are really like scattered like this, like color stories, I kind of feel like overwhelmed and all scattered brained because I'm not sure what kind of looks to do. I don't reach for this palette a lot, but this one definitely reminds me of fall. And another palette that I really need to use soon in a Shop My Stash. Another palette I have here for you guys, whoa, it almost fell out, is the Color Drain Queen of Hearts palette. This is such a beautiful palette. The color story, again, those purples, you get a pop of orange. Like, I think purple is like definitely like fall for me. Get some copper shades in here as well. The shimmers in here are beautiful and super nice. Like, those are definitely the standouts in this palette here. Definitely would recommend. This was like super hyped up when it first came out, and I actually got it for Christmas. My husband bought it for me, and he got it when they had a like buy one get one free palette, so I ended up giving the other one to a friend. If you have this, pull it out. This was something that people raved about a lot when it first came out, and I didn't get it till like months later, and super happy I have it in my collection. Definitely a beautiful palette to have. Next up, oh, this is another limited edition palette. Well, I'm sure a lot of us have this in your collection, so if you can't get these palettes, just pull them out and try to kind of shop your stash to be able to kind of recreate a palette with what you have. This is the ABH Jackie Aina palette. This is beautiful. Again, I think I just have a color story I reach for during the fall season. Those purples, the warm browns over here. I buy a lot of scattered color stories, don't I? And then I'm like, oh, this is like too much for me. Like, I don't know what to do. But yeah, this palette for sure is awesome. And this formula is different from the other ABH palettes. I feel the mattes are not as powdery as like the Sultry palette is. I really like this palette, and the pigmentation is super nice as well. Here are some swatches for you guys. Running out of space because I want to do them all like up here. But as you can see, those are pretty pigmented, super nice. And I just realized this is like the blush. It's actually a lipstick that I use as cream blush, and I didn't take it off when I started filming. I was like, where did that come from? Yeah. Back to my palette. Yeah, I really love this formula here. I wish ABH shadows would be like this formula right here. 3 more palettes left to share since I did have 11 and not 10. Next up, I have the Melt Cosmetics Gemini palette. Definitely needed to give this one a little shout out. I love the greens in here. I feel like it's perfect for the fall season, and they're grungy and really pretty and pigmented. I also do have these warm tone shades over here that I could definitely pair with the greens in here. I can do an all green look. I can do an all warm tone look. I just think this is a beautiful palette. When I saw this when it launched, I definitely had to get my hands on this. This is still available, which is awesome. So if you're eyeing it, I would definitely suggest you pick it up. I think you will not regret having this. Or if you have it already, definitely pull it out. get more use out of it. And if you want something, you want the greens, but you don't want like the warm tones that are in the Melt Cosmetics, I also recommend this Kaleidos Futurism 1 Sci-Fi Green. This was sent to me in PR, but I still really love the Kaleidos formula. Pigmentation is really nice. The shimmers are awesome. The mattes are really nice as well. As you can see, you do get the same kind of color story, but it's just like an all green grungy palette, and you do get that one shade, warm tone shade in here as well. I feel like I keep covering my face when I'm talking about like I really like the formula on Kaleidos. If you're eyeing it and you're not sure, like, the formula is super nice, and I would definitely recommend it. So let me swatch some of these so you guys can see, and you can definitely build it up. It's not like super pigmented where you have to be careful how much you're applying to your eyes. I think it's a really nice palette, and I would definitely recommend the brand if you're wanting to try. I got one more palette to share with you guys, and this one definitely screams fall to me, and it is the Morphe 35M palette. Another palette I need to reach for soon as well, and more often. I definitely love this palette. The color story, look, you get all those greens, those purples, those maroon, burgundy shades. I think just greens and purples are my kind of colors for fall, right? Yeah, you get pretty much everything you would need for fall in here. I do feel like some of the mattes in here are kind of dry, and I also do wish that it had like a really dark brown in here. So you get this dark purple over here, and then this one's like a, is this purple as well? It's like a deepened black purple. But yeah, I think the only thing that's missing in here really is like a brow bone shade and also like a dark brown. But other than that, I really am loving this palette. This is one of the only, like, in this packaging from Morphe that I have in my collection, and I just love the color story in here. I thought it was beautiful when it first came out. I was like, need that palette. I love it. So those are all the palettes that I am recommending that are perfect for the fall season. If you have any of these palettes, definitely pull them out and get some use out of them, create some beautiful looks. Let me know down below what 3 palettes you think are perfect for the fall season. I'd love to know. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please also subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!